It actually happened. After weeks of rumors, the Wizards and Rockets swapped John Wall and Russell Westbrook. There's so many questions. What does this mean for Russ and Wall? Will James Harden consider staying in Houston now? Who won the trade? Will we get fashion shows in DC and the Dougie in H-Town? Actually, we already know that last one. This video reacts to this trade and says why actually it's not about Westbrook or John Wall. Hey, it's Casey. Welcome to AM Hoops. Hit subscribe and notification bells. We are pushing for 100,000 subscribers by January 1st. I know we can do it, especially with breaking news like this, because we have 5 videos per week, always dropping at 9 a.m. Eastern, but also whenever there is breaking news, it is a double upload. That is worth a subscribe. So training camps have just started. The season is around the corner, but the breaking news never stops. First, let's look at the actual trade. The Rockets get John Wall and a protected 2023 first-round pick. The Wizards get Russell Westbrook. The winner is absolutely the Washington Wizards. Let's be honest about both of these guys. Neither is a winner in the playoffs. They're both way overpaid on about the exact same contract, but Russ is the better player. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Wall will be lucky to have his jersey retired. Russell Westbrook may have failed in the bubble, but he's been great recently. After the new year, but before the shutdown, he averaged about 30 points a game on 50% shooting for Houston. Russ was great. John Wall, on the other hand, hasn't played pro basketball in about 2 years. He suffered an Achilles rupture tripping at his own house. Those kinds of injuries kill careers for guys that rely on elite athleticism. In DC, Russ will be paired with Bradley Beal in the East. That will absolutely make the playoffs. Look, I don't believe in Russell Westbrook in the postseason, but I'd bet anything in the regular season. This man averaged a triple-double for 3 years and won an MVP based on the regular season. He's also reunited with Coach Scott Brooks. Those two had a great relationship in OKC. If I were a Hawks fan, this is horrible news. One more playoff spot out east just got spoken for. I think now the top 8 will be the Bucks, Nets, Heat, Sixers, Wizards, Celtics, Raptors, and Pacers. Yes, Russell Westbrook makes DC a top 5 seed in the East. Honestly, his bad bubble was probably from the quad issue combined with recovering from COVID. DC is getting a Hall of Fame talent. The Rockets are getting a question mark. Houston fans are going to say that John Wall reunited with his Kentucky teammate DeMarcus Cousins is great. Yeah, right. Both guys have a tragic injury history. The only way the Rockets won this trade is if James Harden signed off on it and has agreed to stay. And that's the thing about this trade. It's not about John Wall or Russell Westbrook at all. This is about Houston trying to keep James Harden and DC trying to keep Bradley Beal. They actually want the 2 stars who ball out every night, so they swapped the secondary overpaid dudes past their prime. In Houston, Harden is also a Hall of Famer, but still plays like an MVP. If the Rockets traded Harden, they would get a bunch of picks looking for another James Harden. I know it hasn't worked, but they have to try to keep him. But if Harden did sign off on this, Wall is his 4th star teammate. Why would this actually work this time? In Milwaukee, Giannis is practically begging to get players like this. Harden can't win with any of them. In fact, he can't get along with any of them. We said that Dwight joked around too much. Oh, CP3 is actually a bad teammate behind closed doors. Now, oh, Russ can't shoot. Maybe we should start looking at James Harden. I think this trade shows us, yet again, Harden is impossible to play with. He wants to be traded to Brooklyn? Hell no. The Nets should think long and hard about Harden's ability to work with star teammates. Apparently, it doesn't work. Even still, though, I think the Rockets are trying to keep James Harden. A report said they're willing to get uncomfortable at the beginning of the season and keep Harden despite his trade request. I think this deal was to see if Wall and Harden click on the court. And if it does and the beard stays, they run it back, getting to their first NBA Finals with Harden. As far as John Wall in that system, Harden has shown he can play with all sorts of point guards. I don't see an issue. Again, any team with James Harden will win in the regular season, so I don't see them missing the playoffs. The Rockets must have known Russ and Harden were a toxic relationship, so they had to move Westbrook. I think this trade is a Hail Mary to save the organization. The Wizards will do anything to keep Bradley Beal. ESPN reported last season if they wanted to trade Beal, they would get a historic trade package back for him. But they don't want young players and draft picks. They want an all-star in his prime. We know John Wall and Bradley Beal had issues with each other for years, no matter how much they tried to deny it. For example, John Wall once told Coach Scott Brooks, F you to his face when he was told to pick up the intensity. Beal told The Athletic, I've been dealing with this for 7 years. It looks like Beal finally won the rivalry, and the Wizards hope it means he stays. So yeah, this trade is really about Houston keeping Harden and DC keeping Bradley Beal, not Westbrook and John Wall. But I know some people will disagree on Houston. They'll say this means the Rockets are tanking, but that's not what this trade tells us. If Houston was trying to get rid of Russ and Harden and start over, then why did they take on another 3-year, $132 million contract? If they were rebuilding, they would have sent Russ to a team with cap space like the Knicks and taken nothing in return. No, they are trying again with another star to please James Harden. And the Wizards are getting another talent to keep Bradley Beal. In the end though, I don't think either will result in a chip. The real winner in all of this is the Oklahoma City Thunder. They flipped Russ for Chris Paul and 2 first-round picks, then flipped CP3 for Kelly Oubre Jr., Ricky Rubio, and another first. Houston totally messed up, and they're still paying for it. People are freaking out about John Wall and Russell Westbrook. Really, this is about if the stars will stay. Will we get a Bradley Beal trade to the Warriors or to the Heat, or a James Harden trade to the Nets? Well, if Houston and DC get what they want, those actual stars will stay. Support AM Hoops and click subscribe. Don't miss a daily NBA video.